today is a big deal. That's right, there's not one but 3 observances being commemorated within this 24-hour period. And Nancy is moving across the country with stories of hope and, of course, a few tricks. Children are being encouraged to play, to reduce time spent online or being a gamehead, and get out there and celebrate National Play Day. And also, Jamaica has once again joined the world in honoring the young ones under the banner of Universal Children's Day. With so much to do, you still found time to hang with us, and we're so glad you did. I'm Sandra Clark. A packed Jamaica magazine awaits you. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 20. The Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, is reporting the country's inflation rate is back on target. Governor of the Central Bank, Brian Winter, made the announcement at the BOJ's quarterly monetary policy report briefing on Monday. At its last meeting, the bank reported that inflation had fallen below the 4 to 6% target between March and August this year.
However, 12-month inflation at October 2018, as reported by Statin, was 4.7%, higher than the 2.8% recorded at the end of the June quarter.
Mr. Winter explains that the uptick in inflation since June 2018 largely reflects higher and more normal prices for agricultural food crops, as well as increased electricity costs. He says inflation is expected to remain within target into 2019.
Over the next 4 quarters, inflation is projected to fall to 4% at December 2018, accelerate to about 4.7% at March 2019, and then rise further towards the upper limit of the target by June 2019. Inflation is then projected to fall close to the lower limit of the target in the September and the December 2019 quarters. And after that, it would then gradually trend towards 5%.
According to Mr. Winter, the BOJ's medium-term forecast for inflation to converge at 5% is predicated on continued improvements in domestic demand. This includes stronger growth in gross domestic product and improvement in the labor market. The proposed establishment of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is being endorsed by Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw. This development is being initiated by the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, as part of its corporate social responsibility. The endeavor aims to create a platform to list social enterprises and not-for-profit entities and their projects for funding by donor investors. Representing Minister Shaw at a recent function, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Finance, Favour Williams, said the JSE's undertaking reflected an acknowledgement of a new and evolving business model.
This is truly commendable. It's a great step as we move into a greater recognition world over of non-financial factors such as socio-cultural and environmental factors and their impact on the bottom lines of companies. By urging the financial sector to support the social capital markets, the objective of reaching people and changing the lives of those most vulnerable should bear all our collective interest.
The event was the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange Stakeholder Sensitization Luncheon held on Friday by the JSE. The Ministry of Health has endorsed the CARICOM Regional Commission report on marijuana, which outlines conditions for access to the drug. The report states that access to medical marijuana should be for qualifying conditions where there is clear evidence of its therapeutic benefits and for debilitating and life-threatening conditions that are difficult to treat.
These include
patients on chemotherapy with nausea and vomiting, glaucoma, asthma, patients with anorexia and weight loss, for example in AIDS, cancer, and anorexia nervosa, chronic and neuropathic pain, multiple sclerosis, sleep disorders, and some neuropsychiatric disorders, such as Alzheimer's disease.
The chief medical officer was speaking at a JIS think tank on Friday. She says the ministry will continue to license and register pharmaceutical companies to produce medicine from cannabis. Dr. Bisesa McKenzie says the ministry supports the use of cannabis and byproducts for research and medicinal purposes and will be keen on monitoring the distribution, sale, and safety of such products by registered authorities. Government is facilitating discussions on the introduction of a Paternity Leave Act to encourage shared parenting, support, and mentoring. The proposed legislation is in line with recommendations of the National Policy for Gender Equality. The Act defines paternity leave as a job-protected period of leave for employed men with income support provided in some cases. It is also a short period of leave for the father to take immediately following childbirth to help care for the child and assist the mother.
This consultation is of major significance as the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport seeks to introduce paternity leave as a benefit to men as fathers and part and parcel of the Jamaican workforce. The discussions are geared towards challenging stereotypes and creating new action plans on creative and cutting-edge ways to engage and empower men to be supporters and advocates of gender equality.
The ministry's permanent secretary was speaking at an International Men's Day forum on Sunday. The theme was Positive Male Role Models. The National Policy for Gender Equality outlines Jamaica's commitment towards gender equality and to providing an enabling environment for achieving the goals of fairness and socioeconomic justice for women and men. And finally, access onto and out of the Cassava Peace Road along Constant Spring Road has been suspended. The National Works Agency, NWA, says this is to facilitate the laying of distribution water and sewer lines on the western side of Constant Spring. The work is being done between the tax office and Manor Park. Persons wishing to access Constant Spring Road can do so via Clifton Boulevard. Further to that, vehicular traffic heading in both northerly towards Manor Park and southerly towards Half a Tree is being rerouted onto a completed section of the corridor. This is between the intersection of Hillman Road and Oliver Road. All persons traveling north along Constant Spring Road will exit the new pavement in the vicinity of Manor Center. The NWA is urging motorists to obey the posted warning signs and instructions of flagged persons. Constant Spring Road is part of the government's legacy projects and is being upgraded at a cost of $20 million. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The Ministry of Science and Technology, the National Commission on Science and Technology, and the Scientific Research Council on November 21 celebrate the men and women at the forefront of scientific innovation at the Biennial Awards ceremony. These remarkable nominees have excelled in the fields of agriculture, food and agro-processing, education and popularization, engineering and manufacturing, energy, entertainment product, environmental sustainability, health and safety, and youth innovators, all in an effort to promote national growth. The National Innovation Awards 2018, celebrating excellence in science, technology, and innovation.
Up next, a recap of last week's major happenings in the Office of the Prime Minister.
Boost in maritime security. Another entity enters the BPO sector and close to $1 billion allocated for National Mitigation Program. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Stay with us.
The government of Jamaica stands in support of business process outsourcing, and we will make the necessary investments to ensure that there is the flow of human resources to support the continued development and expansion of that industry.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's assurance to the latest player in the BPO sector, KPMG Jamaica Extended Support Services, KGES. The knowledge process outsourcing entity, which employs 100 Jamaicans, will provide market development, finance, accounting and human resource services to its customers based in the United States. On Tuesday, the Prime Minister said the Heart Trust NTA and the Housing Opportunity Production and Employment Hope program has been training young Jamaicans to take up jobs in the sector. According to Mr. Holness, the BPO sector has the potential to increase its employment tenfold from the current standing of 30,000 Jamaicans.
It can create career opportunities, jobs with a long life cycle, where you can start at one level and spend your lifetime in it, ending at a significantly higher level, where a career path is established.
In Parliament Tuesday, the Prime Minister announced the rollout of a $997 million national mitigation program ahead of the Christmas season. The works are to be carried out by the National Works Agency (NWA) and the National Solid Waste Management Authority (NSWMA). Each constituency will get $12 million for debushing, drain cleaning, road patching and general cleanup, while $100 million will cover the removal of bulky waste.
So the MP will make recommendations to the NWA as to the roads that should be bushed, the roads that can be patched, and the areas that will be cleaned or bulky waste removed, or the drains that will be cleaned. Ultimately, Mr. Speaker, it is the NWA that will go and measure the work.
The members of Parliament are to submit detailed work programs to the Integrity Commission to verify works. The National Mitigation Program will run between November 19 and December 7. Prime Minister Andrew Holness used Tuesday's parliamentary sitting to confirm he played no part in the appointment of the Integrity Commission's new acting executive director, Colonel Daniel Price. He told the House he was neither consulted nor advised of Colonel Price's appointment.
It stands to reason that in accordance with its establishment as a commission, it would have used its own judgment in conducting its affairs, including in appointing an interim executive director. It would not be appropriate for any second guessing or criticism of the exercise of their authority as an independent commission.
On Wednesday, the island received a boost in its maritime security with the commissioning into service of a maritime patrol aircraft and 2 of 9 helicopters. They are to be housed in a new hangar at the Jamaica Defence Force Air Wing Manly Base.
What we're doing here today is ensuring that we make an investment in securing our borders, increasing our domain awareness, not just because it sounds great, but because it will have a practical effect for the man on the street in Jamaica. You will see crime going down in your communities as a result of this investment. But more than that, it also signals Jamaica's intention to do more with our blue economy. I'm using this platform to say to the leaders of the public sector, lean forward in the Amanda system. Let's start embracing it and letting it work. Otherwise, I will really have to sit down now and figure out how do I enforce this. And it can be done.
Prime Minister Holness's impassioned plea to public sector leaders at Thursday's National Competitiveness Council meeting. The Application Management and Data Automation Amanda system is a web-based application aimed at providing greater transparency in the approval process at the local government level. Mr. Holness's call follows Jamaica's dip from its 70 to 75 placement out of 190 countries in the 2019 Doing Business report. The island is, however, the top-performing country in the Caribbean and the top 6 in the Latin America and Caribbean region. Jamaica's best-performing indicator came in dealing with construction permits, which moved up 22 points due to the passage of the National Building Act in March 2018. Jamaica also earned the 12th spot in getting credit. National Competitiveness Council Chairman Daryl Vaz said focus will now be placed on improving its Getting Electricity indicator, which slipped by 24 points from 91 to 115. Registering property, trading across borders and protecting minority investors indices are also up for improvements. Minister Vaz also shared plans for the island to reach the top 10 of the Doing Business report by 2020.
We need to start holding the implementing ministries and agencies more accountable for the implementation of these reforms. The Secretariat has met with the Minister of Finance, who has given his full support to the reform agenda and is working very closely with us in collaboration with the Planning Institute to identify the funding that the agencies will need to get this work done.
Thursday also saw the Prime Minister intervening in a dispute involving Flow Jamaica, the National Works Agency and China Harbour Engineering Company CHEC over the state's legacy road projects. The intervention resulted in an adjournment of Flow's court action on claims of disruption of its services to customers caused by ongoing roadworks across Kingston and St. Andrew. Coming out of Thursday's meeting, Prime Minister Holness instructed CHEC to send Flow a schedule indicating a notice period for excavation activities before any such work is done. The parties also agreed to have regular meetings to ensure the major infrastructure development projects continue in a seamless fashion. At his office Thursday, the Prime Minister held another regular meeting of the National Partnership Council. He was joined by members of his cabinet, including Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang, and Gender Minister Olivia Grange. Thursday also saw Prime Minister Holness holding talks with the new principal of the University of the West Indies Mona campus, Professor Dale Webber. Professor Webber took up his new post on October 1, replacing Professor Archibald MacDonald. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
We really want all of you to start thinking about how are you going to level up this November. And level up for us starts with self. So it's really a call to action for you to look at yourself and to see what can you do better, what more can you give, what more do you want to be. So we want all of you to use Youth Month to recommit, to do more, to do better, to go harder. But not just for self, but for communities. Because we believe that young people can change communities. But more than that, level up in your own lives so that we can level up Jamaica. Level, level, level up.
The Junior Achievement Company of Entrepreneurs Secondary Entrepreneurial Development, JSEED for short, has embarked on a series of initiatives to engage the nation's youth. Junior achievers are being exposed to entrepreneurial activities within the classroom at national conferences and seminars. Take a look.
One day in February 2018, thousands of students from 50 schools all across Jamaica showcased their companies. Hundreds of companies birthed, developed and managed by grade 9 students. The products and services they displayed were of their own creation and were for sale, an exercise to highlight their business idea as they are 6 weeks into a real-life, real-time in-class training in entrepreneurship through a program called JACE, Junior Achievement Company of Entrepreneurs, spearheaded by Junior Achievement Jamaica. The occasion was the National Careers Week and Skills Competition.
One of the things that Jamaica has proven itself to have is very, very innovative young men, young women who are entrepreneurial, who are competitive. What we are trying to do through JACE and JSEED as an expansion of it through all the schools in Jamaica is to try and tap into that entrepreneurial spirit.
JSEED is designed to give secondary and out-of-school youth hands-on experiences in business management and operations. The program focuses on entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and work readiness, and is geared to help improve the skill level of youth as they inevitably move into the workplace. USAID provides funding support to all high schools the first 3 years of JSEED, which will help fast-track the program's reach and impact at the grade 9 level by the year 2020.
It's a very interactive program, so when our students are learning, it's best for them to learn by doing.
We do this in business basics class. It's different because of all the excitement, all the creativity that is unlocked in the kids, how interested they are every class, how excited they are to show me improvements they've made on their products. So each week it gets better and it gets better, and they're just excited to show me what they're working on.
So they're actually going to run a business. The students have to come together as a team of about 20 students each. So if you have a large class, you may have 2 companies. And across the grade 9, we've seen schools that have 16 companies. It used to be after-school activity. No credits given, but students used to love it. And so now we're introducing it to 40,000 students each year. And so the ministry helps us by opening access, by meeting with their teams to look at the curriculum and seeing how we can enhance it, by supporting their students taking a day from their in-class work to learn real-world work in these types of activities, and it just support us along the way.
The entire world, your economy revolves around businesses, entrepreneurship. And so as we use our education and training system to prepare students for the future cannot be bright or sustainable unless we have new creative minds, ideas that are bankable, new products, whether value added or otherwise, that we can create, that we can monetize, sell to our local population, as well as export to earn foreign exchange so we can sustain our standard of living.
My students are very energized, they are very enthusiastic, very happy.
It is not a chalk and talk. They are able to walk around the classroom, interact with each other.
It's made me realize that being a responsible person isn't very easy, and it makes me appreciate getting just homework more, because it's not as hard as creating a business.
It was very informative and very competitive. It shows me the competitive nature that is in the environment when I go out into the world.
The students are encouraged to solve problems and seek opportunities in the creative, agriculture, technology, and automotive industries. And throughout the 16 weeks, the companies come together over several competitions and are judged as they vie for trophies, medals, and National Company of the Year.
So basically we were looking for creativity, point blank innovation, students thinking outside of the box. How do they utilize materials around them? Are they solving a problem? Are they creating something that is effective within the society?
As the students go through the JSEED program, they are expected to develop leadership skills, business acumen, and gain local and international exposure. But all this would not be possible without financial support.
Our focus as a financial institution is in fact building through education the skills of young people through helping them understand how to actually build business, how to build sound businesses.
Citi has been a funding partner since inception. JPS has now joined on as a national partner. More partners are needed to mentor students as they transform their future opportunities.
And that's really what we're about. Can we get enough young business people coming out of schools to make sure that Jamaica has a bright future in terms of its economy?
One of the best ways to contribute to nation building is by providing a stable home for a child who is in need of a loving family. As we commemorate today's observances in honor of children, why not consider or encourage someone to foster a child? Here are some details to help make that decision. Have you ever thought about fostering a child but not so sure about how you can do so? Well, today is your lucky day. Get your pen and paper ready as we take you through all you need to know about the foster care program in Jamaica.
So what is foster care all about? Foster care is a process that allows non-biological parents to provide children in state care with a stable environment which contributes to their overall development. How do you become a foster parent? You have to be a responsible adult in good legal standing between the ages of 25 and 65. Must have accommodation that the child can be comfortably housed, gainfully employed or have some source of income, willing to undergo medical examination, must have a police record, meaning you must provide a police record, not that you must have a record, and finally to agree to a home visit and assessments by the children's officers periodically as they supervise the child in placement.
And those are the basic steps you need to take to foster a child. I dare you to make a difference and foster a child who is in need of your helping hand today. For more information on foster parenting, visit any CPFSA office island-wide or call 876-948-284122. We did promise you a packed show, and indeed it was. The magazine closes for today, but please visit our social media pages. We're just a click away. You may also download our app to be notified of our new posts. Until next time, I'm Sandra Clark. Thank you for staying with us and take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.